Hi, everyone. Thank you all for joining. My name is Brian Vigent. I'm the co-founder and CEO of CultureHQ. CultureHQ is on a mission to help companies fundamentally think differently and act upon inclusion. And we have built the first digital platform that's helping companies build a connected and inclusive culture. In today's world, creating a diverse and inclusive workforce is no longer a nice-to-have. This is a top-to-bottom business strategy and is one of the top priorities facing businesses today. However, for decades, the focus has been predominantly on diversity. And with research showing 65% of executives are only focused on recruiting. 87% of companies have stated that this is a top priority, which is all the way up from 32% in 2014. And over $8 billion are spent on just training programs alone for diversity. What about inclusion? What are companies doing with inclusion? Inclusion is creating an environment where employees feel connected, they feel welcomed, they feel respected, and a sense of belonging. Inclusion is, in essence, the glue that holds diversity together. And as Deb from Deloitte has said, the key to unleashing the power of our diversity is inclusion. But what are companies doing? They're confused. They don't know what to do. Inclusion is not as easily quantifiable as diversity is. So they then resort to narrow definitions and narrow perspectives, which then create narrow initiatives on inclusion. And what happens is they end up creating these employee resource groups which are focused around the main attributes of age, gender, race, and ethnicity, which then create these silos across an organization based upon these groups, which in actuality creates the exact opposite effect of inclusion. It creates more exclusion. But companies want to create an inclusive culture. In fact, there's a CEO Action Committee, which just was formed a couple years ago, which now has over 600 CEOs from some of the top companies in the world that have committed a pledge to create inclusion. And from a Deloitte study, 71% of companies have said that they want to achieve an inclusive culture, but only 12% have actually done this. So there needs to be a solution that can ultimately drive inclusion forward, and that's where CultureHQ comes in. We have the first digital platform that is fundamentally driving inclusion in the workforce. It starts off by expanding employees' identity. Here's a traditional sense of identity of age, ethnicity, race, and gender. This is what companies are thinking about when it comes to diversity. With CultureHQ, we've expanded that to now include interests, both personal and professional, experiences, skills, talents, passions, to create this comprehensive profile of what an employee or who an employee is. We then use that to then learn about each employee across the company and then use AI to then drive more meaningful connections across the company, which then informs HR and diversity inclusion leaders to create more personalized and inclusive programs, which then feed into our unique data and analytics that keeps track of progress of how they're doing on initiatives, how employees are connected, how they're involved, and how they can ultimately make a difference. And all of this works together and feeds on itself. And in terms of how that looks, this is the personalized dashboard for each user. So after they go through the onboarding flow, every single employee has a different dashboard that is aligned to those key attributes. It helps them to expand new interests and new skill sets. It helps them to get connected with their other peers across a company. And helps them to leverage their community as a support and resource moving forward. We have robust event management features that help companies to manage all of their trainings, workshops, activities in one singular tool. Think of like a combination of Evite and Eventbrite, but with real-time feedback. We have unique data analytics that we're consistently evolving to really help keep track of progress. And as far as how far we've come, we launched our alpha version last year in April. We've now came out of beta in January of this year. We have 10 clients on board. We focus predominantly on the mid-market, and we just started selling. Month-over-month revenue growth, engagement is increasing month-over-month. And now with our new focus on diversity and inclusion, we have a strong pipeline because our message is now resonating across the Fortune 500. We have an amazing founding team with diverse skill sets, experiences, passions, and interests. We have an amazing investor and advisor team that brings complementary and unique perspectives. We're in the midst of raising our seed round of funding, where we just kicked this off about a week ago, and we already have $100K wired in our bank, $250K committed from additional angels, and certainly have room open for additional angels and VCs to join. And we really want to use this to accelerate our growth, build our team, and have investors to join us on our mission. So in closing, across the conference, people have been talking about diversity and inclusion. It's been a major theme in a lot of these sessions. It's a major priority. This is no longer just a nice to have. This is a top to bottom business strategy, but things have been forgotten. People haven't figured out how to create inclusion in the workforce, and that's where CultureHQ comes in. So I hope all of you can join in our mission, and I'd love to talk to you after. Thank you.